Destroy us all. Destroy us all. Destroy us all. Hello. Thank you for clicking on episode 2 of The Weird, the Bad, and the Bloody, an exclusive new show on the Nerdthusiast YouTube channel. My name is Nick.
I'm Nathan.
And we are bringing to you all the weirdest, baddest, and bloodiest movies of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, because let me tell you, there were a lot of those in each of those decades.
Some would say too many. We would say not enough.
So our general gimmick is we have 2 spin wheels. One of them we spin and it determines which decade we're going to do, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. And whichever decade it lands on, we have a second spin wheel to determine which movie we will do from that decade. It will be something categorized as either weird, something bad, or something bloody. And today we are bringing to you our review of the classic 1988, what would you call this, a slasher? A sci-fi?
I don't know if this is either of those.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is what I call a complete circus.
We bring to you our review of Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
Which just got a video game too, did it not?
I think it's about to come out.
Oh,
I think it's
okay.
they're still working on it. They're working on the Killer Klowns from Outer Space video game, just kind of like a horror survival, like Dead by Daylight.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. One of those collaborative ones. Remember the Friday the 13th game?
Yeah.
Where Jason could teleport?
Oh, well, he can.
The one playing Jason can teleport.
That was my favorite part of that game, was realizing, oh, this is how he does it in the movies.
Where he's like, how the fuck's he over here now? He does actually teleport. Mystical monster from the lake. Who knew?
What a cult classic this is.
It's one that's definitely gotten a lot more love.
Yeah, if you saw this on the shelves at Blockbuster back in the 2000s, I think most people kind of shrugged it off. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I guess I remember that. Maybe not. Maybe sort of. But,
sure.
You know, with the internet and all and everything, people were watching this and then going,
this is pretty good.
Wow, what a gem.
What a weird
Where was this?
Movie. What a movie. This has probably some of the best stylized production I've seen in an 80s horror movie. The villains all look unique. All the clowns look unique. Yeah. Everything is very, very interesting as far as it goes.
You can tell there was some really fun effort put into this movie.
Absolutely.
This is a movie, I'm just going to come out and say it right now. This is a movie that, for what it is and for knowing what it is great at what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really had a lot of fun watching this again, because this is not my first time seeing this.
Mine neither. We both really enjoy just horror in general, right?
Yes.
And I love horror, and we love weird horror.
Especially elevated horror like this film.
Before we get into kind of the time that this was released and everything, what is our initial of Weird, Bad, or Bloody? What would you classify this movie as?
Oh, this is gonna have to be weird.
This is weird.
This is weird. It's not a bad movie.
No.
No.
This is a weird, well done movie. And I think the thing you'll be able to kind of see as you go through it and continue is why. And the first real trend is when it comes out. Okay. It's 88. The 80s were known for probably 2 main themes in horror. There always seems to be about 2 main themes each decade. 80s mostly, perfection of the slasher genre.
Oh, yeah.
Laid down in 78 with Halloween, and it's been perfected since. We've had a couple different Texas Chainsaws. We've had the inclusion of Nightmare in 84, so it's 4 years since Nightmare.
Can I, be that one guy?
Sure.
That does this. Actually, Texas Chainsaw came before Halloween.
Fair enough.
There was only one Chainsaw Massacre movie in the 80s.
So this takes kind of a lot of the elements of the slasher genre and takes them and turns it on its head a little bit more. Besides slasher, I feel like the other type of trope that this movie tends to follow, which is something that was big in the 80s, because it is 30 years since, the 30-year cycle since a lot of these 50s movies, is extraterrestrials. And even E.T. would represent.
Yeah, that kind of fear of small town America getting invaded by the unknown.
Communists.
Yeah. I knew there were a bunch of clowns. This is a love letter to those kinds of movies, honestly. I can really see a lot of elements in it.
I mean, what do we got? We got, in the 80s, we got Aliens. We got the sequel. We got the sequel to Alien. We got Aliens. Mm-hmm. We got The Thing. The remake of The Thing. E.T. eventually.
Well, E.T. was nice, though.
Well, he's one of the only good ones.
He's one of the good ones, huh?
Regardless, this is the infusion of the 2 main types of themes and tropes of horror at the time, slasher and alien.
Very much so.
Yes.
But again, very much a love letter to those old 50s sci-fi, like,
There's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of good references, especially with the idea that everybody in this town starts getting affected in a way somehow. Maybe a little invasion of the body snatchers here and there.
Yeah.
Especially with what they do to people when they capture them.
Yeah. There's the trope of it's so big. These are bigger objects. These are bigger aliens from a distant planet, but they're only really fucking with this like town. Everyone else in America is fine.
They don't even have a reason for being here. They're just there.
This is like
they just show up
in fucking wherever state. That's where they are. Just your town.
It's probably the Midwest.
If it can happen here, it can happen anywhere.
Where will you be when the next attack happens?
Exactly.
But all they want is people, essentially. I don't even know why, but what they do to these people is a little messed up. As dark as this movie can get, it's got an element of lightheartedness to it.
Oh, it's campy.
That kind of puts it in the same category as like Critters and Gremlins almost a little bit.
Yeah.
It plot-wise a little similar. But my point is, this is kind of baby's first horror.
It is honestly. A baby's first horror.
Yeah, this is kind of a
really fucking scary shit.
There's a kind of a gateway horror to it because the scary shit comes with these clowns are just hideous. They're really scary. They're really they do look pretty intimidating sometimes, even though the stuff they're doing is really schlocky. Yeah. And the way they act is really just like, yeah. There are some genuinely creepy moments, like the clown like beckoning the kid from outside at one point.
Yes.
That's a creepy moment.
Yes. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. Or, when they, find the remains of the people cocooned and what, right? Yeah. Like there's some moments where they're just like, oh no, we're getting a little bleak here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is still a horror movie.
Absolutely. Just to give you some context, 1988, as we said, other movies that are coming out, same kind of time, similar through the year. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988. So that's coming out at the same time. Die Hard,
Halloween 4,
as we talked about.
Nightmare 4.
We got Crocodile Dundee 2, another one you could throw in there. But I think, and most importantly, because it's important to date these whenever we're doing it because of a family member Nick has who hates this guy. Cocktail.
Yeah.
It's always important to date which Tom Cruise movies are around because Nick's dad hates Tom Cruise.
But he's it's not that he hates Tom Cruise. Yeah, he hates Tom Cruise. Okay. But he's a big admirer of a lot of movies that Tom Cruise happens to do. Like the Mission Impossibles. That's my dad's kind of forte, It's just the sacrifice he has to make is having to watch him in these movies.
He is kind of punchable. I don't know what it is about Tom Cruise. Like I also feel that as a level. So it's important to date what Tom Cruise is doing whenever we talk about movies. I feel like with us, just be like, for context, Nick's dad was like, Cocktail at the time. Who directed this?
Steven Chiodo.
Okay.
I believe is how you say his name.
Chiodo? Okay. I don't know this man. Who else did he do?
You know what else he did?
What?
He did this very underrated little Netflix Christmas special called Alien Xmas. And it came out back in 2020, and it's really adorable. It's about like this race of aliens that like, they look like the usual Take Me to Your Leader aliens, but they come to Earth during Christmas time, and the aliens' gimmick is that they're just selfish. They just want to take,
Okay.
They just want to steal things. And there's one alien, his name is X, and he falls in with this nice family and pretending to be a toy.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a little like Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
But pretending to be a toy, and he kind of learn. But this family lives at the North Pole because they're all elves working for Santa.
Oh.
And he kind of, well, there you go. There's your lead into him learning about the spirit of Christmas.
This is exactly like Killer Klowns.
Well, I was blown away when I found out he directed that one too. It's on Netflix if you want to check it out. But if you want to scare your kids before you show them the true meaning of Christmas, then show them Killer Klowns from Outer Space first. Which, by the way, this movie has a really misleading poster on Tubi.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie. Like I was watching this on Tubi, and the poster, like I'll show it right here. I'm sorry, but that's not at all the tone of the movie. That's not, honestly, it looks like a very bleak apocalyptic, just like gore fest or something. That's really not the movie. The movie, again, like I said, has just kind of like this kid-friendly charm to it almost a little bit. Like kind of like it could be, you could mistake it for a trauma film almost at times. Yeah. Without like the insensitive, unapologetic violence. But this movie does have its violent moments, but it's not like, oh, suddenly, and then the nerd got like his fucking skull crushed under a car, like Toxic Avengers or anything.
Any other actors that stand out in this?
The only one that stands out to me is John Vernon from Animal House. He plays, he plays a cop who just fucking hates everybody in the town. Yeah. Like he is just ready to just book everybody and anybody for anything. He's just like, you looked at me weird, young man. And if you don't know who John Vernon is, he's Dean Toadblatt.
Dean. Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Billy and Mandy?
The Dean Toadblatt is a reference to Animal House.
Dude, Billy and Mandy gets everyone, dude.
Gunder Stankhouse.
Nigel Planter. Stay away from the Chamber Pot of Secrets. It's under me desk.
One of the biggest positives about this movie is the risks it takes. And by risks, I mean it just kind of like throws whatever it wants to at the wall to see if it really sticks. Is
going for everything, and they have a budget to back it up. In some ways, they
really do, yeah. Because these things look incredible, like the actual like alien clowns that come down. They're all like 7 to 8 feet tall, except for one of them. He's a little guy, but he's probably the most dangerous.
Well, don't fuck with his little trike, bro.
He's going to knock your block off,
man. Knock his block off, which is actually the bloodiest part of the movie, to be perfectly honest. That's what I'm like, oh, shit.
In the 80s, that's what I love about 80s movies, that they didn't really test the waters, honestly. They kind of just chucked boulders into the water.
Just fucking wait for it.
It was like, because again, this movie's such a kid's movie at heart. Yeah. It really kind of is, even though it's got some really disturbing subject material at the center of it. Yeah. And you know what else I loved is that this movie has such a sense of humor to it. I know. Like it knows what it is, instead of the lovers like taking this seriously, like having such a grand old time, like it's the beginning of The Blob or something. Yeah. Instead, it's just a line of cars, and all the cars have like teenagers like making out in them, banging in them. This is like the main character, like for some reason he has what does he have, a raft in the back of his car? Yeah, he's got a raft. This is like for him and his girlfriend, like his buddies roll up in an ice cream truck because they're trying to get with some girls too by giving them free ice cream, and they're
I don't know if that's a good technique. I wouldn't try that is one step away from having a van with no windows. It's having an ice cream truck with one window. One of the positives I want to talk about is I appreciate the creativity that goes into every aspect. You don't get to see these clowns go after people with one style. We get to see them like kill and attack in so many different ways.
In ways that you would see clowns use at like a circus.
And I love that. There's shadow puppets and dangerous popcorn and cotton candy.
There's balloon
animals. And a fucking tricycle. And there's so many different ways. There's a pizza delivery service that shows up at one point.
Yeah, they just start going door to door at one point.
There's so much creativity into every aspect of this movie of how the clowns look, how the clowns kill, what the clowns wear, and each of their personalities too. Oh, yeah. There's so much enjoyment into all of it. And it just feels like they spent the budget in the way that they should have. Things don't have to be grand scale and large, even though some of it is. It can be small and intimate, door to door. Just show me something else they're doing. What is this doing over there? Why is the clown at the pharmacy? Does he need to pick up a prescription?
No, not really. There's that little fish out of water element where they're oh, what's this culture? What's this planet we're not from? Let's do whatever we want instead of what the normal rules are, you know? This movie's tone is never in question. Sure. Thankfully, it keeps it consistent throughout, and the tone is just that it's got such a camp feel to it. Mm-hmm. Like the old man who's just like, "That's Haley's Comet. I'm gonna go find it. We're gonna be rich. What the fuck is this circus tent doing here?" You know, he doesn't shut up. He's just alone, and he just keeps talking because he thinks he's gonna get rich. Yeah. And he finds the aliens' spaceship, and it's just a big circus tent. Yeah. Well, I didn't know they were in town. Yeah. That tone is never faltered when the movie actually does get creepy, because these things, they're these monstrous things, but they do kind of look innocently curious at times too. Like they're just like, they're
here to conquer, but they're here to learn too.
Yeah. And thankfully these characters allow us to care about them enough. Like you're just like, you're just watching them. You're just kind of like along with them for the ride, essentially, like these teenagers who are trying to like figure things out, like the cop who like starts to believe them after a little bit. You're just like, none of these people are unlikable. Maybe John Vernon, but John Vernon's really entertaining because he's so unlikable in the movie.
As the police chief or whatever.
He's not even a chief. He's just another cop. And he's...
What a dick.
Yeah, he just doesn't believe him at all. He's just like, oh, you're not going to make a dummy out of me, you know? And it's such a throwback to the 50s sci-fi stuff, like Roger Corman stuff.
Yeah. A lot of those early 50s were so camp, too.
It's just like a comfort horror movie. It's just an easygoing little chiller, you know? Yeah. And the last thing I'll commend this movie for is its pacing is fantastic. Oh, yeah. It gets right to it immediately. Nothing really kind of drags it down or like stops it dead in its tracks. I mean, it's usually a back and forth between main characters trying to figure out what's going on, clowns causing havoc in the town. Like, it's just a nice back and forth. There's even a funny ass shot. It's so simple, but it's just like this nice 80s music is playing as the clowns are just like walking down the street to go into town, you know?
One of the things about the risk of this town I really do appreciate, and you know, just the movie in general, and we're going to talk about this in another movie that we might review for our other show today. I appreciate them reaching out to punk bands to do soundtracks. This soundtrack, the Killer Klowns from Outer Space theme, is done by the Dickies, which I actually just got to see at a show not too long ago. They have some other ones like Banana Splits and stuff like that, songs and stuff like that do. And this is done by the Dickies, and it's just such a memorable, like, distorted guitar, fun punk song. And it's so high quality too. There's synthesizer in it. There's like the circus theme played on an electric guitar playing the lead, like the dun, 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 dun. It's so well done. And I commend movies for just taking a risk and being like, hey, there's this like up and coming punk band that's doing some other shows. You want to like ask them? They're just like, yeah, the punk band's like, sure, we'll do it.
Screw it. Do you know there's a YouTube channel called Worthy Kids?
No, I didn't.
Okay, they made a show on YouTube called Big Top Burger.
Okay,
and it's about a clown from outer space named Steve who comes to Earth, drives around a food truck called Big Top Burger.
Okay,
and the diner in this movie is called Big Top Burger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The shit where the show where the scary thing happened.
Yeah. So the show is a lot of the show is a big reference to this movie. Yeah. So if you haven't checked it out, it's a really fun show on YouTube. It's called Big Top Burger.
Absolutely.
And it's done by Worthy Kids.
I think we can do our awards section, Nick.
Okay, give me yours.
Okay. I would like to present Killer Klowns from Outer Space with the award of Best Scary Thing That Is Obviously Happening That No One Is Noticing. And I present it to where that clown is beckoning the girl outside.
Oh, Jesus.
It's so fucking scary. Like, I don't know what is happening. It is a full fast food restaurant this girl is eating in. And she sees the clown with a fucking mallet behind it like Western Exterminator. Wait, hey, come here. I'm going to hit you over the head with this. It's so scary.
It's a creepy scene.
It's creepy. And no one is noticing this.
No one else sees this clown except this kid.
And this girl's like, oh, I'm going to go outside. And she's like saved right at the end, thank God. But I was just like, what the fuck is going on? No one's seeing this. This is what, listen to me, okay? And I'm going to be mean here, boomers. This is why all your kids got fucking kidnapped and abducted in the 80s. This is why this happened.
Oh, no.
Shit like this.
Do you really think boomers watch us?
No. But this is why, like, all these kids went missing. Nowadays, they'd be like, what the fuck is that? Get away from the window.
Everybody would notice that.
Yeah. You're getting fucking filmed, bro. And then a couple people are going to beat your ass.
Try anything, you get canceled, bro.
Yeah, canceled. So I'd like to present that award. Most obvious scary thing that's happening that no one is noticing.
My award goes to Best Movie Character Turned into a Life-Size Dummy. Because this happens to someone at one point in the movie.
You can say who. We might throw it in there.
No, I won't. Okay. And I say best because you would be surprised that there is another movie out there that has done this.
Which movie's that?
Have you seen Dead Silence?
Yeah, I have.
I fucking love Dead Silence.
Who's the dummy now?
No! credits.
In your opinion, has anything changed? Is this weird, bad, or bloody?
We categorize this as weird.
Yeah.
This is
Just to start.
This is not a bad movie.
No.
It's not bloody enough to be bloody.
There's a little bit of blood where the guy gets his block. I'm going to knock your block off.
It gets to, I don't know, knock your block off, you little freak.
There's also some like, some blood in like the times with the
cotton
cocoons.
candy,
Yeah. But it's like it's a mixture of that and sugar. So, I can't say it's anything bad. Can't quite say it's blood.
It's not quite when Ripley finds Brett and Dallas in the director's cut of
Oh,
Alien.
God. I would say, this is weird.
This has to be weird.
But not bad. Like, that's the thing. This is so much fun.
This is such a good weird, yeah.
Worth checking out. I'm not sure. Is it still streaming on Tubi?
I think it might. Yeah.
I think it's still streaming on Tubi. Check out Tubi, Pluto. A lot of those like free things get access to so many good horror movies in their catalog for like licensing for like a couple months.
So many of the classics, the underrated classics that we forget about.
Yeah.
But when we remember them, we spend a day thinking about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our rating, weird, on this movie. I think we can move on to our selection for the next episode. What do you think?
I think yes. Okay, gang. The moment you've all been waiting for, what our next movie on the next episode of The Weird, the Bad, and the Bloody is going to be. So we will spin our first wheel now.
Wait, it's close. 90s.
And it's the 90s.
90s. What a time in horror.
The decade we were born.
Well, let's see what we got.
That's how young we are, folks.
Yep. Or old. All right.
Speak for yourself, motherfucker.
So we got 3 movies now up for the choice. We got 1 weird, 1 bad, and 1 bloody. And you're going to see those 3 on the screen right now as we spin this wheel.
So let's find out which one we are getting now.
Oh, come on. Big money.
I have one that I really want it to be. Oh, hell yeah.
What do we get? God, I'll get dressed like M. Bison.
Thank you so much for watching episode 2 of The Weird, the Bad, and the Bloody. We both enjoy doing this very, very much. We get an excuse to watch some really awesome movies, and maybe not so awesome, but hey, we get something out of it, right?
If you like what we do and want to check out our other show, you can check us out at 1.5 White Guys.
But if you would like to see more of The Weird, the Bad, and the Bloody, check us out here exclusively on the Nerdthusiast YouTube channel, where we are a bunch of creators who create a lot of different content for you.
Nick, should we go get some cotton candy?
Yeah, the fair's going on right now.
All right.
I hope it's not made of people.
I get to slurp it.